Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rachakwadash. Double honors to the apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and salutations to the Akim who are tuning into these videos. In this video, I wanted to showcase this article very briefly. It was posted a few years ago. It was speaking about how America has lasted roughly 250 years. And as the title of this article says, the average empire survives for 250 years. Is America at death's door? And when we're prophesying against Mount Seir, we're going to bring out these things because we're standing upon our watch, measuring the times diligently and seeing all these things that are unfolding. And this article is bringing up that assumption, but if you ask us, it's a definite yes, because you can see everything that this place is doing does not worship the Heavenly Father or reverences Him. Plus, you got the nation of Israel, so-called Blacks, Latinos, Native Americans, are yet in this day in their captivity. So this place is fitting to be destroyed, but in a grand scale. Just as how we left Egypt, this place is going to go down the same way. And it's written all throughout the scriptures. And that's really what the testimony of Yahweh Shai is prophecy. And part of prophecy is the downfall of this wicked kingdom because of all the undealing and unrighteousness that it has proliferated. You go into the scriptures and it's speaking about this place, Mystery Babylon, where we are here led to serve in our captivity, but we're going to be delivered out of it, the 144,000 who are tuning in to this prophecy. So I'm just going to read the first paragraph of this article. It says that study shows that an empire survives on an average mere 250 years. Did you know that? To put that into context, the world's oldest person recently died at 124 years old. So she lived nearly half as long as most empires do. Most Americans are unaware of this small but crucial statistic, which may suggest much about our country's future. It is past time for Americans to confront the painful reality that our time as a world superpower may be limited, and it is time to explore how to slow down what frankly is inevitable at some point. That the United States global domination will not persist indefinitely. This may be difficult to grasp and accept, but it has never been true for any civilization in the past, and it will never be true for any society in the future. And this paragraph brings up something very interesting about the normal Babylonian here, is they really believe that this place is going to last forever. Like they're stuck in the matrix. They don't see anything else is going to come up or circumvent America's stronghold and their culture. Like they really think that America is just going to be here forever. Even so-called Christians think that America is going to be here forever, regardless of all the wickedness that this place has pushed forth throughout the four corners of the earth. They think that this place is going to be untouched. But if you read the scriptures, it's speaking about this place. This is Mystery Babylon, and the way this place is going to be destroyed is going to be destroyed like in an immaculate level, because it's going to lead to the Third World War, which a lot of people, they don't like to speak about those things because it brings up those facts. It brings up the fact that there's writing on the wall, that this place has been weighed on the balances, and it's not looking good for the average Babylonian. And so I'm going to read this chapter, Revelation 18 first, then I'm going to get a few precepts. But this is in Revelation 18, and I'm going to read most of it, so bear with me. Because Revelation 18:1 says, "And after these things I saw another angel come down from heaven, having great power, and the earth was lightened with his glory. And he cried mightily with a strong voice, saying, Babylon the great is fallen, and is become the habitations of devils, and the hold of every foul spirit, and a cage of every unclean and hateful bird." And this is reflecting what is spoken about in the book of Isaiah, chapter 13. It's speaking about how when this place is destroyed, because just as Sodom and Gomorrah was destroyed, that's the same way this place is going to be taken out. And that after the aftermath of that destruction of thermal nuclear fire, it's going to be a doleful desert with all these unclean creatures. It says, and every unclean and hateful bird, because ain't no one going to be able to survive here in America. You're not going to be able to look at the map and see where it started or where it ended. It's just going to be a smoldering pile of ash. And that's going to be as a memorial of this place for what happens if you disobey the Heavenly Father, a monument of rebellion. As so, verse 3, it says, for all nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication, and the kings of the earth have committed fornication with her, and the merchants of the earth are waxed rich through the abundance of her delicacies. And so you can see that right now we're living in that situation where everybody comes here to America to get rich. And it's really off of the backs of the so-called blacks, Latinos, Native Americans, because we're really the only ones who are working in this society. We're the only ones propping up these cities and keeping the infrastructure going. And all these heathen nations round about are in cahoots to just basically get over on us. And they have drunken that wine and that fornication that Babylon has spewed. All this wickedness and the ideologies that basically Esau Edom proliferates, all these other heathens are adapting to that. But it's going to come to a time where that place is going to be no more. The party's going to stop for all these heathens. This is in verse 4. It says, and I heard another voice from heaven saying, come out of her, my people, that ye be not partakers of her sins, and that ye receive not of her plagues. And this is going to be an actual voice speaking to the elect. As they're being beamed up, they're going to be delivered out of Babylon, so that we're not partakers of her sins, nor receive of the plagues that this place is fitting to receive. Verse 5, it says, for her sins have reached unto heaven, and the Most High hath remembered her iniquities. And the scriptures speak about how this place's iniquities has reached unto heaven. The atrocities this place has done, not only to the world, but mainly to the Israelites. And this is the controversy of Zion, because it's with the start of when the Spaniards came here on those boats and enslaved the people in the islands of Puerto Rico, and then started that transatlantic slave trade, is really when that really sealed their fate, because this is the place where we were led to our captivity. And then with all these heathens, they pushed forth wickedness because we were out of the picture. Now they were able to perform these wicked, heinous acts, especially Esau Edom, knowing that he had the Israelites in the palm of his hands. He went wild. His sins reached unto heaven. You know, he's polluted the whole earth, and he just profaned the holy days. So this is in verse 7. Verse 6. It says, reward her even as she rewarded you, and double unto her, double according to her works. And the cup which she had filled, fill to her double, because this place is going to require that judgment. All the wickedness that it has done, spilling the blood of the original inhabitants here, which were Israelites, they have to pay for all that. But they have to pay for that double now. Verse 7, it says, how much she hath glorified herself and lived deliciously, so much torment and sorrow give her, for she saith in her heart, I sit a queen and am no widow, and shall see no sorrow. And that's the mindset of these people. They really think this place is going to continue on forever. They think that this place is never going to get hit with missiles. They think that war is never going to break out to the point where a draft has to be called out. That's what it's speaking about, that this place sees itself as a lady, an untouched woman, basically just living in ease, living deliciously. So this is in verse 8. It says, therefore shall her plagues come in one day, death and mourning and famine, and she shall be utterly burned with fire. So strong is the Lord, the Most High Yahweh, who judgeth her. And the kings of the earth, who have committed fornication and lived deliciously with her, shall bewail her and lament for her when they shall see the smoke of her burning, standing afar off of the fear of her torment, saying, alas, alas, the great city Babylon, that mighty city, for in 1 hour is thy judgment come. And just as fast as this society was living here, pushing all this wickedness roughly 250 years ago when it was established, that was just a small fragment of time in the Lord's eyes. It really happened within a snap. But as it quickly was built up, it's going to be quickly taken down by Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai, and through those thermonuclear missiles. Even the chariots are going to amplify the fire of this place, because that's how fitting this place's judgment is that it requires to be utterly abolished and destroyed into nothing, beat into powder. So I'm going to read from verse 10. It says, standing afar off for the fear of her torment, saying, alas, alas, the great city of Babylon, that mighty city, for in 1 hour is thy judgment come. And the merchants of the earth shall weep and mourn over her, for no man buyeth her merchandise anymore. Because that's when all of this wickedness is going to be put to a stop. All right, so I'm going to read this precept here in Isaiah 14. And I'm going to start at verse 3. It says, and it shall come to pass in the day that the Lord shall give thee rest from thy sorrow, and from thy fear, and from the hard bondage wherein thou wast made to serve. And we were serving that hardcore bondage here in America. Verse 4 says that thou shalt take up this proverb against the king of Babylon, and say, how hath the oppressor ceased? The golden city ceased. The Lord hath broken the staff of the wicked, and the scepter of the rulers. He who smote the people in wrath with a continual stroke, he that ruled the nations in anger, is persecuted, and none hindereth. The whole earth is at rest, and is quiet. They break forth into singing. Yea, the fir trees rejoice at thee, and the cedars of Lebanon, saying, since thou art laid down, no feller is come up against us. And that represents all of the nature that this devil has corrupted. Once this devil is put out of existence, we're going to literally be able to live. He's literally the problem of the earth. So much that the trees are going to sing and rejoice when he's put out of power. Because when he's in power, all this wickedness is happening, even just to the animal life, the plant life. He's polluting the whole earth with all of his weird inventions like plastic and just a whole bunch of nonsense that we aren't going to need in the kingdom. The kingdom is going to be very old school. We're going to seek the old ways, and it's going to be a perfect way. We're not going to have all these food dyes and chemicals and GMOs like what this devil is doing in this society. It's going to be perfect, so much that all the trees are going to sing that they're actually going to fulfill their purpose in life. But I'm going to continue on. This is in verse 9. It says, hell from beneath is moved for thee to meet thee at thy coming. It stirred up the dead for thee, even all the chief ones of the earth. It hath raised up from their thrones all the kings of the nations. All they shall speak and say unto thee, art thou also become weak as we? Art thou become like unto us? Because in the kingdom of heaven, Esau Edom is going to be put down so low that all these heathen nations that he was bullying for roughly 250 years, they're going to look at this guy saying, is this the guy who is doing all these things? The big tough Edomite who is making all these movies like he was some action hero running around the world and just basically just kicking ass. This is in verse 10. Verse 11. It says, thy pomp is brought down to the grave, and the noise of thy vials, the worm is spread under thee, and the worms cover thee. How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? How art thou cut down to the ground, which didst weaken the nations? Because right now, Lucifer, that represents the light bearer, and Esau Edom is the light bearer. He's that big tough guy out on the playground, and no one really wants to step in front of him because they know that he's the guy with the nukes. He's the guy with all the military might. He's the guy who's got all the money, all of the petrodollar, the oil. He's got all those resources. So all these heathen nations, that they're under Esau Edom, while the king of Babylon or the queen of Babylon, this whole nation lives deliciously while everyone else is subject unto him. But in the kingdom, when that is reversed and he's taken out of power, they're going to look at this guy and say these things. As it's in verse 13, it says, for thou hast said in thine heart, I will ascend into heaven, I will exalt thy throne above the stars of the Most High, I will sit also upon the mount of the congregation in the side of the north, I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will be like the Most High. And this is what Esau Edom is actually saying, thinking, and trying to put forth with all of his Starlink and Space Force programs. He's really trying to do these things and call himself as the Most High. In verse 15 it says, Yet thou shalt be brought down to hell, to the sides of the pit. They that see thee shall narrowly look upon thee, and consider thee, saying, Is this the man that made the earth to tremble, that did shake kingdoms, that made the world as a wilderness, and destroyed the cities thereof, that opened not the house of the prisoners? All the kings of the nations, even all of them, lie in glory, every one in his own house. But thou art cast out of thy grave like an abominable branch, and as the raiment of those that are slain, thus through with the sword that go down to the stones of the pits, as a carcass trodden under feet. And that's going to be Esau Edom's demise. And in the kingdom, we're going to really see this base man, the border of wickedness, actually be in his actual lot, basically just serving his captivity to the point where we're not going to need him anymore. So this is in Zechariah 5, because I was speaking about Esau Edom, but this place is going to be destroyed, the place here in Babylon. America, as you know it, is not going to survive this third world war. And I'm just going to get to the point. This is in Zechariah 5, because if you read the book of Zechariah, it speaks about the chariots. All right, so I'm gonna start at I'll start at verse 1. It says, this is Zechariah 5:1. It says, Then I turned and lifted up mine eyes, and looked, and behold, a flying roll, the chariots. It says, And he said unto me, What seest thou? And I answered, I see a flying roll. The length thereof is 20 cubits, and the breadth thereof 10 cubits. Then said unto me, This is the curse that goeth forth over the face of the whole earth, for every one that stealeth shall be cut off as on this side according to it, and every one that sweareth shall be cut off as on that side according to it. And so all these heinous acts that were happening here in Babylon, they're going to be retributed, while the chariots are there, observing everything, delivering the elect, because we're still yet to stay in our captivity. And when those chariots come and deliver the elect, we're going to be delivered out of the captor, out of his hands, out of his shackles. And that's what Yahushua is really going to do, is to deliver us out of this state that we're currently in, ruling under Esau Edom. A quick precept is in Ecclesiasticus 10, verse 8. It says, Because of unrighteous dealings, injuries, and riches got by deceit, the kingdom is translated from one people to another. And as I was reading other precepts in Isaiah 14, this place has been pushing nothing but wickedness, nothing but abominations. And it's really rich because of the stealing that Esau Edom has done. This devil is coveting fields, and he takes by violence. He does that also to nations, mainly the nation of Israel. That's how he got on top of everything. That's why he's powerful right now, because of the captivity that we serve under him. So in this verse, back in Zechariah 5:4, it says, I will bring it forth, saith the Lord of hosts, and it shall enter into the houses of the thief, and into the house of him that sweareth falsely by my name, and it shall remain in the midst of his house, and shall consume it with the timber thereof and stones thereof. And so that's how this place is going to go down. With the chariots, with the thermonuclear missiles, this place is not going to survive more than 2 hours once Yahushua returns. It's not going to go on for more than 300 years, I'll tell you that much. So the last precept I want to read here is in Isaiah 13, and I'll start at verse 18. It says, Their bowels also shall dash the young men to pieces. I'll start at verse 17, because it speaks about the Medes, which represents Russia going up against NATO and the EU and hitting Babylon with these thermonuclear missiles. Because with World War III, you're seeing the BRICS nations get together. All these nations who are going up against Babylon because of all the unrighteous dealings. This is verse 17. It says, Behold, I will stir up the Medes against them, which shall not regard silver and as for gold, they shall not delight in it. Their bowels also shall dash the young men into pieces, and they shall have no pity on the fruit of the womb. Their eyes shall not spare children. That's actually something that Putin said a while back. He said that basically was speaking to the mothers of America, and he was telling the mothers of America to go talk to your politicians because he's going to push the button because of the politicians. So like he was basically giving a forewarning to the women of America because the men who are in charge are pushing Putin to push that button, and that's what's going to happen. He's not going to regard the money that America is going to try to bribe him with. He's not going to regard the woman or the children that they have in pregnancy. He basically, Putin is stirred up by the Heavenly Father to enact this third world war. And there's nothing you can do about it because ultimately this nation has ran its course. It's been 250 plus years, so this place has to go down, according to the statistics that even Esau Edom himself goes into. But this is back at Isaiah 13:18. Their bowels also shall dash the young men to pieces, and they shall have no pity on the fruit of the womb. Their eyes shall not spare children. And Babylon, the gold, the glory of kingdoms, the beauty of the Chaldees' excellency, shall be as when the Most High overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah. And so this destruction is equated to how Sodom and Gomorrah was put out. And you can see why that place was put out, Sodom and Gomorrah, and you could just look out the window. I don't need to explain anything else. This place has just pushed nothing but profanity and blasphemy in this world. That's why it's fitting that this place is taken out the same way that Sodom and Gomorrah was taken out, by thermonuclear fire. But with that, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashim Yahweh Shai, Bahashim Rachak Wadash, Shalom Akim.